Sometimes talking with friends feels like role-playing. Sometimes it feels like combat. Join us at the Round Table and Roll Initiative. This is Curmudgeons and Dragons.
Hello, adventurers! Welcome to Curmudgeons and Dragons. My name is Jason Portizo. Today, I am joined by Ms. Josey Diaz.
I can only be silly for so many takes, and then I get tired of it. Hello.
Yeah, we did like 7 intros. So.
You can, the beautiful part of it is that you can just nitpick pieces of it, and it's just going to be me sounding like an asshole in every one.
No, it's just
going to be
a
compilation.
It's just going to be you explaining it, and they're not going to have an idea what you're talking about. So okay, that's just the intro we got today.
I'm sorry I ruin it every time.
Yeah, whatever. But Josie's back. She's taking a little study break. Kind of caught her in between exam papers and stuff like that. So enough to grace us with her presence for one last time before she goes back into study hell.
It's not hell. Josie? I get to write silly little stories.
Yeah.
But they are
that sounds awful.
Time-consuming.
That sounds awful.
Aren't you a DM?
Yeah, not a student.
You're also writing silly little stories. It's just your peers that are grading you, not a teacher.
I'm reading silly little stories. I don't make them just yet.
I'll have you know that half of it is improving.
Yeah, a lot more than that, but all right. Josie, you got a story for me today?
I do have a story today.
Let's get back into RPG horror stories. Let's jump in.
Okie dokie. So this one comes from user Manuel M4N, maybe Manuel Man? I don't know. Good name. Good stuff. And it is, party gets mad at me because they decide to kill an unarmed teenage boy, despite warnings. Which is always, honestly, a great way to start.
Oh.
So, this happened recently in a traveler campaign. A group of travelers go to a small system that has declared unilateral independence from the Third Empire. So this is in the galaxy far away. I'm gesturing off screen for anybody that is just listening to this on a podcast. Sorry. The local duke is who decided this. Group is tasked with assaulting a relatively undefended comm center on orbit. I've made it clear that this war has gone on for 10 years already, and that the separatists are at their wits' end with little resources and no one backing them up. So the party goes in and counters a bit of resistance. They turn a corner of the station only to find a single soldier huddled up on the ground against a wall, shakily aiming a gun at them. I'm in the middle of describing how this guy looks unusually small, the uniform 3 or 4 sizes too big, when the group just attacks. Initiative, not simultaneous actions yet because I haven't fully read the companion. Guy luckily goes first. He tries to shoot, but the weapon is empty. I describe how he throws it away and covers his face with his hands. Next is the Marine veteran, who proceeds to shoot straight into this guy's heart. Boom, dead. Which, good for you, good shot, but also, when they get closer, I finally finish my description. This quote-unquote soldier looks like a 12 to 13-year-old boy. They get mad at me for not telling them. I tell them I was doing exactly that when they interrupted me for combat. And they still decided to shoot an unarmed combatant who is covering their face in fear. I further explained that my idea was that the separatists are becoming so desperate they are using levies of anyone who can barely hold a gun in point. A bit of back and forth later, they accused me of setting them up, while I gave them plenty of opportunity. And before you ask, yes, I had explained to them how Traveler setting is. I don't know what Traveler setting is. So
I'm not familiar with Traveler, and if Jim was here, he probably would be.
Yeah. Oh, well. He can explain it to us off mic, and the rest of you can do a quick little Google search.
Yeah, or we can do a quick little Google search, but I'm not going
to do that right now. That's right. That takes brain power. But... And there is one edit. One thing I may have left out. As I said, the party had encountered a bit of resistance. What I mean by that is they had encountered another group of conscripts who had posed little to no threat because they barely knew how to hold a gun, let alone take cover or have any sort of tactical sense. One of the characters even mentioned that it seemed a little like they were just throwing themselves at us.
My first question is this a horror story?
In a sense, I guess. The horror story part of this for me is, and it's something I myself am guilty of, is not letting the DM finish describing what's happening before you're like, it's time.
Right. Yeah, well, I always that's such a hard thing to deal with because like you're in the middle of a thing and the players are just like, I want to do my thing in the middle of your thing.
Yeah.
When it's like you're here for the story, and while I'm in the middle of telling the story, don't interrupt me.
And I can understand getting like overly excited, being like, perfect, there's a chance for me to try out this new gun or spell or whatever.
Yeah.
I can sympathize with jumping the gun, but if you do that, you can't get mad about the fact that you didn't really have a full context of what was happening because you didn't wait to listen.
Yeah. I think if you're interrupting the DM now let's take to both sides of this because if you're interrupting the DM, then you are not getting the rest of their description. However, the description is just describing what your character sees, and your character would see it. So the DM really should have been like, hang on, let me finish, and finish at least finish the description, and they can make a decision based off of that. On the other hand, war is hell. I don't know. It's a tough one because
I mean, child soldiers are a real thing in real places in the real world. And
but so the top response here, this is from Mr. Boo 843. Says sounds like the encounter elicited the emotional response it was designed for, which is this doesn't seem like the story itself doesn't seem like a bad game. This seems like the players got themselves into a thing because they got too anxious. They now realize the weight of their actions and will be more careful going forward. And it only took one little war crime to get them there. Usually it takes several, which is good for these players. He goes on, unfortunately, the players, unlike their characters, have someone to blame, which is the DM, besides themselves, and thus opted for this instead of facing what they did.
Yeah. I don't want to get too literal about it, but in the real world, if you shoot a kid, there's no one that you get to blame but yourself in that scenario.
Oh, you've been away from America too long, sweetheart.
I every time I read the news, to be honest,
don't do that.
I go, oh my God. And they're like, are you excited to go back for 4 months? I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I know. But,
I miss my friends. I don't miss the climate of the United States.
I miss you very much too. But but that's not what we talk about in this show. We talk about rolling dice and adding like 4 or 5. That's what we do here.
Yeah, but we
do that so we don't have to deal with the reality.
We just put it into a fantasy setting and then we enact our violence upon them.
Yes. Like healthy adults.
Yeah, absolutely. We need a little escapism. I want to be able to enact my vengeance on the government without getting arrested.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
Super great.
Yep.
Or at least talk back to an authority figure without getting in trouble.
Ugh. So as far as this story goes, it seems to me like the most horrific part of the horror story is the players cutting off the DM and jumping right to the part where they take action without fully understanding what they're doing, and the DM allowing them to do so without fully understanding the situation.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the middle of the description and they cut you off, if he had been like, hey, let me just finish real quick. You notice this. Okay, now do you want to continue with that action?
Yeah. And I think a thing that is important to remember when you are collaboratively telling stories, as is what D&D is that you have a blank canvas in front of you that is filled in by somebody telling you what you see. And if you've only got, it'd be like me taking off my glasses and trying to describe a scene to you from 100 feet away, being like, oh, that looks like the cat that I usually pet when I'm walking home from my friend's house. And I just go charging up to it, and there's no time for me to really process the fact that I am running directly at a fox. This is not a real life scenario, in case anyone was wondering why it sounded so specific.
And it definitely didn't happen on earlier today.
No, it did not.
But now this situation is more like somebody there knows that that's a fox, or let's say it's like a badger or something that's going to really kind of mess up your day.
Yeah,
like a Wolverine. And
there are no Wolverines in Britain, but there are badgers. Go on.
But let's say there is one.
It's Escape from the Zoo.
And someone just says to you, because you don't have your glasses on, someone is saying to you, hey, there's a furry thing in front of you.
I'm already gone. I'm booking it.
Exactly. And before they can continue, you're just like, I'm going to pet it. And you run up and start petting it.
To be fair, in my defense, or in their defense, I guess, even with the knowledge that it is a fox, I would see if I could attempt to pet it.
That's why I changed it to a Wolverine, because foxes are kind of cute and they're not really that aggressive.
Though.
Yeah, but they're aggressive.
Yeah, so are foxes. You're not supposed to touch the wildlife. Remember, listeners, do not approach the wildlife. Do not pet the wildlife. I don't care how cute they are. It is a bad idea.
But for this,
I gotta zoom in.
Okay. Go ahead. Right. She's pointing at her eyes and then to the camera. Okay, cool.
That's just for the YouTubers and the TikTok people. Hello.
Yeah, that's why I described it for the podcast people.
Yeah.
But so for this metaphor, so someone says there's a furry thing in front of you and you just bolt and start petting it. Now, a good friend would be like, hey, wait, let me finish describing this thing. That furry thing is actually a Wolverine, and he's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Then you would be like, oh, maybe let me second guess whether or not I'm going to pet this thing. That's how I feel like this should have gone down. Instead, they were just like, hey, there's a furry thing in front of you. You notice that and then you're already petting it. They're just like, well, they started petting it. My hands are tied now.
And my hands are gone.
Yep. So everyone do your job better. Players should listen better. And DMs, like, make sure you put your foot down every now and again. Get a word in edgewise.
Listen on one hand, be assertive on the other.
Yes. But I will also agree with this comment that the encounter did elicit that emotional response that it was designed for.
Oh, 100%.
So, like,
you're meant to feel bad about shooting kids.
Yeah, I think the story got all the better because of it, and it's stop spiking the camera. I think the game got all the better because of it, and like. And now the players or the characters rather have that thing that they can be like, let's never speak of this again. They get their I know what you did last summer moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, interesting story. Not as horrific as some, but this was like, I think this is good for their game.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what they did afterwards once this event happened, like how it affected the characters, and how the players went on with it.
I'd like to know how it affected the players, because it seemed like they were distraught over it.
You should be distraught over shooting children.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I have to say that.
God, that's awful. Yeah.
Okay,
all right, let's wrap this thing up, Josey. We have a ton of episodes like this where we do the RPG horror stories. Go check out curmudgeonsanddragons.com, and under episodes, if you click, there's the little category things in there now, so you can go sort them by RPG horror stories if you want to hear more stuff like this.
Ooh, I love a little cheeky tag page.
Yeah, which I should probably go update, which by the time this episode comes out, I will have updated and make sure they're all actually included. It's probably like 2 or 3.
They're all there. It's beautiful. Perfect. Good job, Jason.
Listen, it's not automatic. I got to go do it.
Yeah, I know.
But, all right. So, that's really all I got. Josey, welcome back.
Thank you.
Josey will be back again next week as well, because we're going to record that right now.
Yeah.
And Jim and I are going to do some stuff after that. So,
and then maybe one day we'll all get together again.
Yeah. Oh no, we got plans. We got plans,
and then I'll be in the same country as everybody else, so it'll be easier to make plans.
Nice.
Good shit.
Right. Josey, anything else?
Brush your teeth.
Cool, got it.
That's it.
All right, cool. Thank you, adventurers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Curmudgeons and Dragons. Please share this with your favorite adventurers. Leave a review on Apple and follow us on social media. All links can be found at curmudgeonsanddragons.com. Practice safe adventuring, my friends.